Hey guys, my name's John Van Deusen, and I am going to talk very briefly about a song that's gotten me through a tough time, and then I'm going to share a couple things that I do to be still. Um, a couple of years ago, I was driving to Seattle from Anacortes, where I live, and I was driving alone, and I felt this pretty intense wave of depression kind of settle upon me like a gloomy fog. And that's something that happens to me periodically. Sometimes it lasts for a week, sometimes it's really just like half a day. For whatever reason, it hit me very, very intensely on this drive. And I began to just feel this overwhelming urge to die, which I know those who have struggled with depression, a lot of us can relate to that. It's an irrational thought. It's pretty unreasonable. But in those moments, it's not something you can control necessarily. So anyways, I was driving alone and beginning to wonder, what would it be like if I drove off the road, which is something that's happened to me a few different times where I've felt that thought hit me very heavily, and it's very alluring. And it's freaked me out a bit, and I began to cry. Feeling very lonely, feeling very isolated, feeling very out of place in the world. And I had recently purchased Peter Gabriel's So at a thrift store, and I like Peter Gabriel. And as I was feeling this depression, I turned the CD player on in the car, and the song that came on was Don't Give Up, which is a duet Peter Gabriel sings with Kate Bush. And I'd heard the song before, and I really, really liked it. But framed in a different light amidst that circumstance, it was very, very, very necessary and needed for me. And some of the lyrics are so clear, and it sounds as if Kate Bush is singing to you, and she says, don't give up, you still have us. Come and rest your head, you worry too much, it's going to be all right. Somewhere there's a place that you belong. I mean, like, very simple but clear, just lines that I really needed to hear in that moment. And I just remember I began weeping as I was driving. I was crying, tears falling. This sounds kind of corny, but it really felt like they were singing to me, And it's amazing what a song like that can do in a moment such as that. And I just now have there's a special place in my heart for that song, and I'll often listen to it when I'm feeling depressed. And so I would encourage anybody who's feeling that way to listen to that song. It might not be your style of music, but the words are just really powerful. And then in regards to being still, I mean, there's a lot of different things you can do to be still. My wife, she has essential oils always diffusing into the air, and I do think some of those can help calm me. If she sits next to me and puts her hand on my back, even a simple touch like that will calm me. So oftentimes I need somebody else or something else to help me be still. Usually my mind is going at 1,000,000 miles per hour, and I think oftentimes we have this misconception that if our body's still, we are being still, but I don't think that's true, because I think it kind of starts in the mind and the heart. If your head is restless, if your mind is restless, you have thoughts that are anxious, you're not going to be able to calm yourself, calm your body. And so I oftentimes have to get outside, leave my phone somewhere, maybe just go sit in the yard, listen to the birds, look at the ocean, remember that the world is spinning and that there are planets, that the universe is bigger than me. And it's funny because I think for me, I find that calming. Maybe for a lot of other people it's not, and it just brings on all these existential questions that are too much. But The other thing I do sometimes when I'm overwhelmed is pray. I think on occasion it works and sometimes it doesn't, because oftentimes when you're praying, it's sort of an abstract thing and it doesn't always produce tangible results. It often feels like you're praying to an aloof higher power or God. But oftentimes that will help me and help my mind and heart reach a place of peace. So those are some of the things I do to be still. I will say that escapism doesn't seem to work. Video games, science fiction novels, weird movies in my case. It might feel like it works at first, but it almost strikes me as a band-aid of sorts. Like, it doesn't really do any healing. It's just kind of a mindless activity. I don't think that's really what my mind personally needs oftentimes, to be still. So anyways, I hope this makes sense. I hope you find it encouraging. It all seems like pretty common sense stuff to me, but I do know that sometimes in those moments of depression and isolation, we're not thinking along those lines, and we need somebody else to remind us to get out of the house and connect with somebody, or even do something that seems like it should be common sense, but in that moment isn't. It's out of reach. So anyways, I hope you have a good day. I'm gonna go walk to work now, so cheers.